Welcome back to the Domus Project. Today I want to talk about flow, this insane trance state people can enter when they become really invested in an activity or task. But before I rave about how amazing flow is, I have to start with kingdoms and castles, and let me preface this by saying this isn't a review, it's simply a video discussion based on the topic I find interesting. If you want a review, check it out on Medium by clicking the little icon above. Over the last few weekends, I've been playing the simple city builder. It's fairly basic in terms of features, deaths, and available tasks. Sold for about $10 as a full release game, it offers the average player about 3 hours or so worth of content. I technically beat it a few nights ago, building a city that encompassed every single block of land with enough of an industry and infrastructure in place to become self-sufficient, to the point where I throw the occasional festival to boost happiness for the year. Yet I wanted to play more. There's no depth, no upgrade system. The only thing you're limited by is the resources, and you can't really optimize resource selection and prioritization since the pathfinding and the activity queue is locked away from the player. Random events that initially feel like a series of setbacks towards gunning for a more profitable town and higher levels of satisfaction. What was initially perceived as challenges just became small bumps in the road, especially as your city grew in size, complexity, and military might. The vertical slice is quite limited when boiled down to the core. Path and build. Path and build. Oh wait, something is on fire. Path and build. The people seem kind of unhappy. Path and build. Wow, my village is so neat. We need to actually build more beds to attract citizens. Path and build. Jeez, I'm still playing this game. There are serious design decisions when analyzed critically that just scream for more depth. Want to know how I manage happiness? Like I said, just spam public facilities and run a crap ton of festivals till you run out of money. Except you don't. Running out of a certain resource, use an industry to create a network of self-reliant systems. Couple that with some top-tier city planning and you've got yourself a one-handed endgame, leaving the other hand to freely drink coffee or something. God forbid there are actually people starving and we run out of food. What a problem to besiege my town. How do I solve this? Storehouses, got it. Wait, it's been 4 hours already? What the hell? Man, if you think that's the height of uninspiring vertical slices, take a look at another game that has grabbed my attention for well over 30 hours. Yes, we're talking about No Man's Sky, the ultimate what do I do simulator. Granted, this game has gotten a lot better with its latest update, giving us more structured content and progression, with the idea that I'm basically tasking myself with performing mining runs and deliveries to break up the story of tracking down a mysterious traveler sort of changes things up. But hey, 20 hours on the PC plus another 20 on the PlayStation 4, because let's face it, I'm the type of guy who buys multiple copies of games for no reason. I was spending so much time doing the mundane that I started to figure out why these games attract certain types of players. The lack of depth, progression, or fulfillment is so few and far between that it ends up not mattering to the player. It's a mundane experience on paper, but both of these games do one thing well, and that's making their simple vertical slices frictionless, easy to repeat and replicate. Now, here's where we get into flow. Flow, also known as in the zone by baby boomers, is the mental state of operation in which a person performing an activity in the process is fully immersed in feeling of energized focus, full involvement, and enjoyment in the process of the activity. In essence, flow is characterized by the complete absorption in what one does and loses a sense of space and time. Flow needs 3 conditions for it to activate. First, the person must be involved in an activity with a clear set of goals and progress. This adds direction and structure to the task at hand. Second, the task must have a clear and immediate feedback. This helps the person negotiate any challenging demands and allows them to adjust their performance to maintain that flow state. Finally, the person must have a good balance between the perceived challenges of the task at hand and their own perceived skills. One must have the confidence in their ability to complete the task at hand. So, at first glance, this doesn't really seem to fit any of the games described above, which is what you're probably thinking. So, let's jump back into Kingdoms and Castles real quick. The goal in the end is to make a kingdom. The progress is determined by how many patrons you have in your kingdom. In order to ensure that you're making progress, there needs to be feedback. A good indicator of feedback is the population side. People complaining about lack of beds, make more beds. People are leaving due to happiness or sickness, public facilities, and festivals. This all ties into the inherent challenge the game presents the player. Everything costs resources, from building to maintaining and protecting the city. A player's ability to effectively path and build their way to a larger self-sustaining city allows this never-ending loop of progress and feedback to exist, dropping the player into flow. Even No Man's Sky accomplishes this on some level. The goal is to get to the center of the universe. You have a map that tells you how far away you are and how to get there. Feedback comes from the progress you make every time you make a jump. From simple jumps from system to system to rolling the dice into black hole jumps, you're slowly but surely making progress. The challenge comes from the economy of moving through space. You need resources, recipes, and credits to make the jump. This requires scanning planets, farming, crafting, refueling, and jumping. Collect, craft, warp. Collect, craft, warp. Don't get me wrong, almost all games can have the player achieve flow. Some of my favorite games have the most amazing overall experience nestled into a vertical slice that I can just spend all day staring at the screen, working towards a goal. It's just incredible that these poorly received games that are ridiculed for lack of depth can achieve the same with their own vertical slice. Games that sound boring on paper, yet offer a level of engagement that people just snap into its world and forget that your chicken is actually on fire. For the love of God, please get it out of the oven. I've played amazing games where I've struggled to maintain flow. Hellblade is a great example. The level of anxiety, fear, and doubt the game casts onto the player can snap people out of it and push others to put down the controller, only being able to stomach it in short bursts. Yet my inability to enter flow didn't neuter the experience. The use of anxiety caused me to empathize with Senua more and pushed me to finish the game for closure's sake. Kingdoms and Castles is a small game. It holds little to no depth. It offers no progression. Hell, there are mobile games that offer a better sense of gameplay at depth. But it's a good game. A game worth $10 and dumping a weekend into. A mundane game that's just enough to distract you from the rest of the world. Hell, once I stopped playing Kingdoms and Castles, I took a peek at Twitter only to hear the world was once again losing its marbles. Thanks for watching. Flow is one of those psychological experiences I love to talk about, and you'll be sure to hear about it in future videos. Follow me on Twitter for updates and shitposting, and be sure to follow me on Medium for more game reviews and articles, and keep an eye on Twitch in case I decide to live stream.